to Crimson Horrors. This is a video series that I wanted to start up before October, but I didn't get the time to. Um, it is a series where I will be reading horror stories, creepypastas, stuff like that. Um, I originally had planned for this to have other hosts with it. Um, I'm still trying to get that situated. Currently, it's gonna be just me for right now. Um, Horror is something that I have always had an interest in. I have written some horror things before, and I always try to keep my hand in horror as much as I can whenever I go and create something. Um, I always just thought that horror was something that was interesting to me. Um, just the idea of being able to scare someone and get their blood pumping and everything. It's always been something that I was drawn to. I always wanted to be in haunted houses when I was growing up. I always wanted to be a part of a haunted house, I should say, and make haunted houses. I always wanted to do that, but never had the ability to be in one. Um, and well, making a haunted house whenever you're a kid is kind of difficult because you don't have the resources, and then whenever you're a kid, things that are scary to you then are not scary to adults. Um, but it's something that always I wanted to do. Um, can't do that right now. So what I'm doing is I am going to be doing this. I'm going to be reading horror stories as a way to basically, I'd say, put my foot in the door to this type of stuff. I already have been making a horror series, um, fun called sorry, called From the Files of the Department of Supernatural Phenomenon. Uh, it, it's still being worked on. I stopped it for a little bit because I have a lot of stuff going on, and I also didn't want to start rushing it too much because I started feeling like if what I was making was not what I wanted it to be. So, if you're watching this and you were wondering about that, it's still in development and everything. I'm still working on it. It's just I wanted to stop for a little bit just so I'd make sure that whenever I did come back to it, that it was as perfect as I can get it. Um, for now, though, I will be reading a creepypasta. The title of the creepypasta, well, that title is Teddy. I've never read it before. It'll be my first time reading it, and I can't wait to share that experience with you. So, without further ado, my sister had a teddy bear, a scary teddy bear. I don't know why, but it creeped me out. It was just so disturbing to me. The thing had eyes that looked so real. It was as if it was made from a real bear, and his face was just blank and unsettling. I started to get weird feelings around the bear when my sister first got it. She was only a baby at the time, and I was about 4. We had a dog, you see, and he had a habit of eating things, so my mom always had to put it up on the small cabinet in the corner of the hallway upstairs. Every time I went up those stairs, I saw that creepy bear suddenly glare around the corner at me, as if it was watching me. This wasn't the weird part. It started to get really strange about 5 years later. At the age of 6 or 7, my sister had lost interest in the bear, so my mother just threw it in the old toy cupboard. The only problem was that the cupboard was in my room. When I was 9 years old, I was old enough to stay on my own and go to bed without any assistance. I would get into bed every night and turn my lamp off. This is when it got scary. As I was getting some sleep, I suddenly remembered Mom putting that teddy in the cupboard. I slowly turned and looked across my room to see it through the glass. My heart suddenly stopped as I thought about the horrors the plush had caused me. At the age of 9, I wanted to grow up and lose my fears, so I shook it off and put my head back down on the pillow. When I got up to pull my sheets on a bit further, I noticed something that would scar me for life. There, set at the end of my bedroom, was the teddy. I sat there, staring at it for about a minute. My heart started beating normally again when I needed to yawn. I closed my eyes. I opened them to see the teddy sitting closer to the bed. At this point, I was really freaked out. I started to move back to the wall and looked around to see if there was any sign that anyone had come in. When I looked back to see the teddy on the end of the bed, I was so startled that I almost fainted from fear. When I blinked, it had gone. I looked around. To my relief, I saw no sign of it. I sat my head back down on the pillow, hoping for some sleep, and I opened my eyes. It was above my head, staring straight down. I screamed as it lunged down at me. I will never see a bear the same way again. A few years later, after years of horror, I burned it. I sat in enjoyment as the bear turned to smoky ashes in my fireplace. I had lived my teenage life through adolescence. The only thing I could remember that was in any way similar to my bad experience was when I watched Train Spotting. That fucking baby scene shocked me so badly, but other than that, all was well. When I turned 19, I was about to move into my new home. I had been given the keys to the house and was ready to set up my furniture. After hours of carrying, I carried the final box from the removal truck into the front door and shut the door behind me. I turned to go into the kitchen and put it on the table. I opened it to see a cabinet. I took it out, walked into my new living room, and placed it in the corner. Stared at it and thought to myself, I don't remember packing this cabinet. I didn't really care that much as I had just moved into my new home. I walked back into the kitchen, grabbed my television, and brought it into the living room where I saw it. The teddy. It just sat there, staring at me. Now, that was a short story. Wasn't too long or anything. But I thought I'd just pick a shorter story to start off with. Um, that was Teddy. I will put the source of the story in the description below. Tell me what you thought about it. I thought that it was a good story. There was some parts where got a little bit where I was like, okay, that's strange. But other than that, I thought it was a good story. I'll see if there's any other stories from this person that were made up. Uh, I hope that you have a good night, and I hope that you have a good month. Uh, Remember, Halloween is coming up close. Uh, got a couple of until the 31st, I believe. So, depending on where you are and when you celebrate Halloween, but stay safe and have a good night.